Yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
In these days when the cost of everything is up, it's certainly great to own a 50 Ford. For I found that my new Ford V8 gives me everything I'd expect to find in an expensive car for amazingly little money. And in addition to being a low-cost car to buy, I find my Ford is mighty economical to own. I get 20 miles to a gallon and spend very little for upkeep. My money sure goes a lot further since I've owned a 50 Ford.
That guy on Twitter lied.
The morning stream, 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 the morning stream.
The morning stream. Better than a pound of jam in your pants.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the morning stream. It is July 2nd, 2020. We are 2 days away from the National American holiday of 4th of July, which I hope none of you plan to celebrate too hard this year, you know?
This will be our Independence Day.
Oh,
Scott.
Right. Thank you, President, what was his name?
President Pullman.
President Bill Pullman.
President Bill Pullman.
Yeah, it was a great speech. Not that great a movie, in my opinion. Fine speech,
Right.
though.
We're
Good
going to
job.
send Quaid up the butt of the spaceship.
Yeah, send in Quaid.
Send in Quaid. And quick, make a hypercard stack that infects the aliens, Will Smith.
If my wife could somehow bump into Will Smith randomly in the city, that'd be great, too, if that could just happen. And have the dog survive. That'd be good.
That's right.
Anyway.
Exactly.
It's morning time. It's me and Brian. Hi, Brian. How was your night?
Hi. It was good. You know, nothing really to report. Just, watched a little TV. I will say that I'm watching your recommendal of I Know This Much Is True.
Oh.
And everything, it's funny because you and I are both watching each other's recommendals, which is what we're supposed to do,
Yeah,
Scott. They're
that's the rule.
recommendals.
Yeah, that's the rule.
But everything you said about Ruffalo is right on the money. He is amazing in this. We're 3 episodes in, and it's a heavy show.
Yeah, it's very heavy. Very heavy.
But you forget that it's him playing 2 different characters.
It's heavy,
He's
but
that
it's
good.
he's so good, and the heaviness is also has a real honesty to it, and that I appreciate. But when he is sharing the screen with himself as his brother Thomas and Thomas's brother Dominic,
jeez,
it is you just don't even think about it. Like, it's not even in your head that this is the same guy. And it's not just tricks of camera. It's like the acting is so freaking sublime. It's an amazing show. I'm so glad you're watching it.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah. I Know This Much Is True on HBO.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Hayepets.
Well, on that on that note, I also started watching Devs last night based on your recommendal. What the frickin' crap is this thing?
Right?
I'm super into it, though. My gosh, I'm into it. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's at. I'm only 1 episode in, so I'm barely scratching the surface here. But I really like what this is so far.
Yeah, and Offerman this is such a role for Offerman, who still, we kind of know what to expect with Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
No, not with this, right?
No.
It's like, oh, this is a different Nick Offerman than I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a real stretch for him, and I don't even know what to say about it. I don't even have words for it. It's just the weirdest, coolest, so up my alley thing. You were totally right to tell me to watch this. So I'm gonna keep going on that thing, binge a few more episodes tonight, and kind of bummed it ends. Like, this is my kind of TV. Like, this is what I want. So
yeah,
I guess are they doing more? Is this a one-off? Like, what do we know?
I think it's a one-off. I think that it's a one and done kind of limited season. So
Okay. All right, we'll see.
but how, and not a spoiler to say, how unnerving is that freaking statue that they have above the
I don't like it.
campus.
I don't like it at all. I do not like that
No.
statue one bit. And they don't either, clearly, because the way they showed it in the opening scenes of, like, just kind of hovering around the campus and showing this space as the bus is coming into town. It's like, what the freak?
It's
Why
really
would you do that?
disturbing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting like a weird what was that movie I saw? That and the summer or the
Tales from the Loop or something.
no,
or,
the Midsummer thing.
Midsummer. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm getting those vibes. It's just too weird. That girl is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't.
Anyway,
I
all
don't
right,
think
cool.
I like it.
I'm glad you're digging. I can't wait for you to.
Yeah, it's
to
very good. Very
get-
good. I'll
get further
report.
into it.
I'll report next week on how I'm feeling about it. But I have a feeling this may be one of my favorite things of the year. So there's that.
Cool.
All right. Speaking of favorite things of the year, pre-show I let the chat room have a peek at the video, but it's already up, so people can go see it. Tom Merritt and I last night kind of soft launched the Current Geek Chronicles Kickstarter last night. And I would like to recommend people go check it out. It's at support.currentgeek.com. Support.currentgeek.com. It's called Current Geek Chronicles, and it's rad. And here's the thing. Tom has said this a couple of times, and he doesn't just say this. He thinks it's the best work he's ever done. And I think I agree. This is some of the best work we've easily ever done. And I'm really proud of it so far. And it's not all done, but we've got a little bit of early work going already because we're dying to get going. Brian's heard some of this.
I have.
I
great.
want the chat to hear some, so I'm going to play just a little bit of our first episode that happens to be about the history of what you all call mana, which we should be calling mana.
Mana.
Okay, for reasons the episode gets into.
The kissing disease, right?
Exactly, that's the one. This is just the first part of the episode, which is called "From Heaven to Hearthstone: A Brief History of Mana." And I'll just play a little bit of it, and you guys get a taste for how this thing starts out. So check it out.
When we were thinking about what we wanted to look into for the first episode of Current Geek Chronicles, we had a lot of options.
Yeah, and I don't think we really need to tell our listeners that geek culture is a pretty wide field to cover. I mean, we do a lot of stuff from tech to sci-fi, movies and novels. There is a ton of stuff out there.
And don't worry, we plan to cover it all in due time. But when we were discussing a debut episode, we hit on something that struck a chord with both of us. Mana.
Now, I should mention this music is Eric Van Skyhawk original, made just for the show. It's great, as you can tell. Typical Eric, awesome music here.
Let's talk mana.
Yeah, I mean, the concept is used in all sorts of fantasy we both enjoy. I mean, that's all you get. That's all you get.
What? I want more.
Yep.
I want more.
And later in the episode, we have interviews with people who are experts in this field. We talk to professors. We talk to, in other episodes, we talk to people that are like professions in the areas that we're talking about. I don't want to give away too much on the subjects, but it's amazing stuff, and we would love it if you had your support. Someone in the chat just says this audio only. Right now, it is designed as an audio experience. We are aiming for something like kind of the quality and level of This American Live, Radio Lab, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a high level production value sort of project, audio production project. And so you're looking at a full season of this stuff. If you want to support it, go on over to support.currentgeek.com.
Cool. And actually, AV Tech John has a correction about the pronunciation of mana. It's actually pronounced like Tony Danza would pronounce it on Who's the Boss? Mona.
Mona.
That's how it's pronounced. So
Mona.
Mona. Oh no, I can't heal. I'm out of Mona.
I need more Mona. All right. It's so dumb that you can still do a / MMOO, which is OOM out of mana. You can type a / OOM or in World of Warcraft as a orc hunter or any hunter, and he'll say, "I need more mana. I'm out of mana." Whatever. He'll say one of those things. He doesn't have mana. He doesn't use mana at all.
Doesn't use mana. I mean, I could use it too in my my orc rogue.
Oh right,
By the
you don't use
way,
mana either. You got some other weird thing you do.
We took down Nazoth last night.
Nice.
However, it was an LFR Nazoth. We still have not done it on normal. We're having such a hard time, but it was good to finally see the mechanics of the later parts of the fight, even though they're dulled down for LFR. But it was still good to finally see the whole thing.
Yeah, once you see that stuff, you get a better. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. It's like
Yeah.
You're basically doing the same thing with just less harsh results, and then you can move your way up. That's
exactly.
good. That's
It's
good to hit.
It's such a DPS and avoidance fight, though. I mean,
Yeah.
there is so much that it feels like it's really beneficial if you're ranged, not so beneficial if you're melee.
Yeah. Do you die a lot You find yourself dead a lot?
Not as much as you would think, knowing me, right? Like it's
Yeah.
I'm not usually the one who dies in that fight. I'm usually the one that's like, all right, wipe it. We're calling it. It's like, okay, then I jump off the edge. But there have been a couple times. It's like it's really a balance of figuring out how much corruption you want to have on your gear. It's like, all right, little corruption, little damage, but you don't have to worry about the stuff that zaps your that zaps your sanity.
And you guys are swapping tanks constantly, right?
We're swapping tanks and dragging the beast around the circle and to grab your partner 2x2, swing them around and eat some poo. You know,
Whoa.
that stuff.
Don't do that. Maybe that's the thing not to do.
Well, it's all part of the dance. Part of the dance.
Okay, the poo dance. Got it. Well, anyway, I'm glad you guys are making some progress there. We're gonna do a fun thing. The fun thing, everybody, that we do once a month on the show.
Okay.
And I gotta find out why.
Except June.
Except June. Yeah, I don't know why we forgot that, but we did.
We had so much stuff going on last week that it kind of did slip both of our minds. I slipped all three of our minds.
Yeah, because I usually get a reminder from her, and I didn't hear anything from her or you or anybody, so I just totally forgot.
Yeah.
But
Usually
that's
she
okay.
reminds me, and
well, we're a day late, and no, we're a month late, and
we're a week late. Really.
and $2 short. I don't know what I'm
And
saying.
$2 short. Wow, it's the $1 short show.
Here's this.
Everything's $1 short.
Yeah, all of it's a $1
Look
short.
at this.
Oh,
Trivial thing.
What the frick? Oh no, I think I may know what today's topic is suddenly.
It's Imperator Gidget.
Wow, that is nuts. Look at that. That's crazy.
Wow.
Is that a head?
I told you guys I would do black hair, but I just took it just a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
So you've got. First, I thought it was like a headpiece because it looks like you're bald, but you're not. It's all pulled back.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, don't shave your head for this. That would be ridiculous. Don't ever do that.
No, and I wasn't willing to chop my arm off either.
Yeah.
For
Don't
it,
make the
so-
same mistake I did. Gidget,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
shave your head for this show.
Don't go that far. Gidget, it is always fantastic to see you. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you boys?
Oh, we're good. Sorry about
Good.
Sorry about June. We totally forgot. You know what you'll get?
That's all right.
You-
I totally forgot as well.
You'll get a twofer in July. That's how this will work. So we do it early in July and then the end of July. So that'll be fine. Well, you're here because we do this thing we call
Trivial thing.
Trivial Thing. She comes on the show, tests Brian and I in a subject of trivia. Brian currently leads overall by a decent
Not
amount.
after today. Well, is it by a decent amount? Good, because I need a little bit of. I'm gonna need some padding for today because.
I meant to write down where we're at, but I forgot. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what the score is. Somebody in the chat might know.
I think you're going to be okay with this, Scott.
Think so?
Because
so,
the
too.
quiz is all about Mad Max Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, you're kidding! You mean you came with a Furiosa face, and it's and now we're doing trivia about Mad Max Fury Road? I can't believe it! I can't believe
Well,
it!
you just gave away the first answer that was going to Brian, so
Oh,
I hope Brian
oops.
remembered that.
That she's
Oh
bald.
crap! Crap! I wasn't paying attention.
Nice.
No, yeah, here's what's funny is well, we got the memo on this, Scott. I can't believe you missed the memo that this is what the subject was going to be. So I studied last night. I actually watched the movie. I fell asleep halfway through. It was
Shut
so
up,
dull
you
and
did
boring.
not.
And,
No,
no,
you
I'm kidding. I'm
What?
totally kidding. I'm totally
Oh.
doing it. That's called heckling or called throwing your opponent off.
You got me.
Yeah.
You got
But that
me.
said,
You're given the piss, we call it here in Australia.
Yeah,
You're
right,
giving
that's
someone
right.
the
Given
piss.
Given the piss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, I don't know what kind of things you're going to ask that would be like, all right, how many bullets did Max fire out of the blah blah blah? Like, there's so it feels like
How
as
did
I
you know
was
I was
watching
going
it.
to ask that?
Yeah.
That's freaky,
Damn it,
Brian.
that's two
Freaky.
questions now.
That's
that
one of the
we've- that we've,
questions.
Yeah.
that we've,
Well,
blah, blah,
stolen.
blah.
I don't know. I
Um,
actually think I'm kind of bad at some of the details and better at the overall picture of that movie. So this may be weird. I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
I think it kind of evens it up. I think with you having a tremendous amount of knowledge, me having seen it once in theaters and once last night. So
Yeah.
I think we'll see. We'll see. If,
Well, I've made it option, like a few answers.
Oh, cool. Like a multiple
Yeah.
choice kind of thing.
Multiple choice. That's it. Yeah,
in America, we call that multiple choice.
Yeah. In Australia, we just like, oh, that's the easy way out, mate.
Yeah. They call it taking the piss over there.
Yeah,
That's
take
right.
it.
Oh, giving the piss.
Oh,
giving
sorry,
the piss.
giving the piss. Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. Well, let's do it. Let's dive right in. I'm super stoked about this. Give us your best, your worst, or whatever it is I'm trying to say. Give it all to. Give us your all.
Well, Brian has to go first because he forgot what you said, Scott. So Brian's got to be the first out of the gate.
All right.
Okay. Charlize Theron.
Yes.
Hi. Plays one of Immortan Joe's lieutenants. What is her character name? Is it Imperator Hawk, Imperator Ignatus, Imperator Furiosa, or Imperator Fauna?
Well, it's close to the third one. It's Furiosa.
Yeah. He did hear.
He did.
Well,
hear.
no, I did just watch that part. I knew even before after I saw it the first time in theaters.
Yeah, I was gonna say even if you hadn't just seen it, I would have been shocked had you not known that. So
Yes.
Yeah.
all right, got the easy
All right.
one out of the way. Here we go.
Okay, Scott. What is Max's last name? Is it Rocky, Rokitinsky, Mad, or Dundee?
It's Rokitinsky or it's pronounced different, but now you've thrown me. But it's that one. It's the-
Rokitansky.
Yes.
Rokitansky with an A. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rokitansky.
Yeah.
That's it. Yay! Oh, and Brian, here's
Correct.
one for you. Forgot to ding
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Give Brian one.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian. All right. What do the war boys think will happen to them when they die in glorious battle? 1, they'll be released from their pain of their horrible world. 2, they become silver angels. 3, they'll ascend to heaven, an open road where they can drive forever. Or 4, they'll reach Valhalla, where they'll live forever fighting battles.
That's the word I was waiting for. Valhalla.
Yep. I'll see you at the gates of Valhalla. Shiny and chrome. You kind of mixed them a little there, but I think that last one's the right one, he says, right?
That
Yeah,
is correct.
The
Yeah.
specifics of it are, Valhalla, but really it is kind of a mix of 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, like all of those are things they hope for. They're all wrong, the dummies.
Right. I hope I never have to wear a diaper again.
Well, I was kind of torn with the whole look. I was either going to go this or be totally
white.
white with the silver across the
Yeah.
face. But the silver got into my teeth and it looked weird, so I went with it.
No, you should have waited until the end when you're totally done going, just spray yourself. And,
I've got the silver spray in the other room. Do not tempt me. I will do
jeez.
that shit.
All right.
You know what's cool is with a washcloth and some oil of Olay, you'd be ready for the Blade Runner quiz. We do right after this. You just wipe
yeah.
off the top hat, wipe off the forehead, and you've got the Priss Daryl Hannah look. with the black
Totally.
stripe
Just
across the
Yeah.
just
Hang
reverse
on a
it.
minute.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh, look at that! Nice.
She's got the just deal with
Yeah.
it glasses.
I might be using those.
If only you
Fun,
could make
know?
those slowly lower. Exactly.
Yeah. We're not good enough.
Yeah, I
we don't have the
know,
tech.
I know, and I've got the cigarette as well, so it could have all just gone,
Yeah, there you go. Just deal with it. There you go. Someone gift that out there, and we'll have a new just deal with it. Furiosa Gidget Von LaRue gift. That'd be amazing. All right, give us the who's next? Brian's next.
Right. Yep. All right. So Brian,
Yes. No, I
what-
just got Valhalla, didn't I? That was
Oh no,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
You're
no.
right. It is my turn.
Scott's next. Yes.
It is my turn.
Scotty Poos, it's your next. All right. What is Aqua Cola? Is it watered down Coca-Cola, beer, mother's milk, or water?
Oh geez, that's actually kind of a hard one. I think that's what they referred to the mother's milk in the tanker as, so I'm going to say that one.
Wait a minute.
I still don't know how to. No?
No.
Is it water then?
No, it's
It's
water.
just water.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember
Yeah.
because maybe he said it during his thing where he's don't become addicted to it. It will blah, 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 that whole thing. He probably
Yeah.
said it there.
Well, this
No,
was actually quite a hard quiz to do because there's just so much action in it. So,
Yeah.
you know, unless you're asking questions, how fast does the tanker drive faster than the other car or something like that? So you've got to delve.
It's exactly what I said before. Like,
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah.
all right, how
much
far
petrol
did
they use?
right? How many times did Max fall off a vehicle?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
come close to
exactly.
falling off a vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So you got that wrong.
Sure did. Yeah.
Wrong, and that was Scott. So Brian.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is the name of the clan Max and Furiosa seek help from at the end of their journey? Is it the Volvas,
I know this.
the Volvolini, the Volvos, or the Visciutis?
It's the second one, the Lini, the Vivolini or Vovolini.
That is
I don't think
correct.
I don't think it's got it. I don't think it's the Volvolini though, is it? I don't think there's an L.
No.
It's the Vuvuzelas.
It's
The
spelled
Volvolini.
Vuualini.
Oh, it is. Okay, Vovolini. Vovolini. Okay.
Volvolini.
Cool.
The vulvas.
Volvolini. It's pasta for women, says Claire.
No, well done. You got it.
Volvos, the safe drivers.
That's right. The
I-
Vuvuzelas.
I knew that one, but that was sadly Brian's. All right, now let's see if I know this next one. Oops, that was for you,
Okay.
Brian. All
So
right.
number 6. Who says if I'm going to die, historic on the Fury Road? Is it Nux, played by Nicholas Holt? Is it Max, played by Tom Brody? Is it Rictus Erectus, played by Nathan Jones, or is it the Valkyrie, played by Megan Gale?
Can you give me the quote one more time?
If I'm going to die, I die historic on the Fury Road.
I believe that was Rictus, his son. Rictus. Immortan Joe's son. Rictus. Yeah? Hold on.
is that your way of saying no?
I don't know. No, I got it right. I got it right.
Okay, she's
Nope.
nodding. Okay,
Nope.
good.
Oh.
No,
What?
no.
Who said
Oh,
it?
It was
No.
Nux.
It
That was
not-
Nux.
Nicholas Holt. Yeah.
Gosh dang it, dude.
Got wrong.
I'm glad you didn't ask me that one. Well, I would have guessed Nux, but I didn't remember that.
I thought that was Rictus. Rictus has a lot of great lines. He says things
He
like,
does.
"I had a baby brother." Oh, I better.
Careful, that might be a question.
Yeah, it might be a question.
Good every way.
He's a big dude too. He's
He is.
just-
He is Erectus.
oh man, he's so big.
Frick.
Lordy. Okay, all right. Number 7, Brian. What is the army of the tyrannical Immortan Joe called? Is it called the Water Boys, the War Boys, the Silver Boys, or the Dust Boys?
What? Really?
I didn't need to watch the movie for this one either. The War Boys. Although I'm a fan of the musical group, the Water Boys. So good to hear them get some recognition in this question.
Yeah, The Water
That's-
Boy
that's
is
why
a
I
good
put them
movie. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, massive fan. Places
Wow.
everywhere.
Oh yeah.
All right, Scott.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, where did Furiosa come from? Was she one of Immortan Joe's slave wives? Was she a wanderer in the wastelands like Max? Was she hired for her truck driving skills, or was she kidnapped from Joe Raiders?
The final one, the last one. She was kidnapped.
That is correct.
Yeah. Because she was from the green place with the ladies.
The
and
green place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
And
got
it
taken.
weren't there anymore, and she weren't happy, and she went.
Yeah. It helped that she was good at driving the truck later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess.
Came
Oh
in
yeah,
handy.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
made her an essential worker, I think.
Yeah. Also, I think the implication is, they don't really say this. I think the implication is that she cannot have a child. We're going to learn a lot more in that sequel, but I think the idea is that any of the women who are kidnapped for birthing and milk production, if they can't bear a child, if they're barren for some reason, then they get other jobs. In her case, she got to drive a truck and be high up in the little military thing. But yeah. Anyway,
Right.
that's a lot of stuff you just
I
read into because
agree.
the movie doesn't tell you. So
You had the big women in the room that were providing the breast milk.
Mhm.
I don't know whether they were allowed to have babies or not, but certainly they kept obviously the milk going. And then you had the really the beautiful wives that were stolen
mhm.
and taken away, and they were obviously what he breeds with.
Yeah.
But it's the other women kept on the pumps
Yep.
too.
Yep, you got.
It's
He kept those other
fascinating world.
ladies. They kept them all super well fed and huge, so that they could produce the most milk. And then the other ladies were just his concubines to
Just
make the
his
babies.
hotties.
Yeah,
his little hotties.
yeah.
Okay, so Brian. All right,
Yes.
number 9.
Number 9.
Yes.
Number 9.
9. Immortan Joe needs a certain apparatus to stay alive. What is it? Is it 1, an electronic generator to keep his brain functioning. Number 2, an external pump to keep his blood flowing. Number 3, a false mask to keep his heart pumping. Or number 4, a respirator to help his damaged lungs.
I believe it's the fourth one with the mouth and the hoses and the air things and the whatnot.
The lungs?
With his teeth, yes. The lungs.
Yes, you are correct.
Nicely
Yes.
done. Good one.
Because I 3D printed one of those, and I still haven't hooked it up to my CPAP hoses, but I will. But I will.
Someone studied that movie last night.
Well, again, I remembered enough about it that was another one I wouldn't have had to see the movie for.
Yeah. In fact, you've made
Well
Immortan
done.
Joe stuff out of your 3D printer since then.
That's
so.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
3D printed.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't have it right by me, but-
next quiz, we've all got to dress to the theme. So if I'm doing this stuff, you guys have got to do it too.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see what the next quiz is. All right, number 10, Scott.
Yeah.
All right, the War Boys kept Max alive because there is something special about him. What is it? Is it he has the location of a huge gasoline storage facility tattooed on his back? Number 2, the tattoo on his back is the map to a water-rich location. Number 3, he's the best person to get gasoline and ammunition. Or number 4, he's a universal blood donor.
He is a universal blood donor and became a blood bag on the front of the car for so Nux could go do shit. Ding!
Sure did.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding,
There you go.
ding. Well done.
And I just, side note, the doctor in that movie, the doctor in quotes, who puts the tattoo on his back to say he's a universal donor and also shows up later trying to save the baby after one of the mothers fell off and got run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He is this actor who is amazing in Fargo season 2. So just be looking for that dude in Fargo. It's the same guy from Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, go ahead.
I can't remember his name, but he's in a lot of Australian movies, and he always plays that really sort of quirky, weirdo,
Yeah.
freakazoid type character. But he's a really, he's
a
in
great
heaps
actor.
of Australian stuff. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good actor.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian.
Yes.
All right, why are so many of the War Boys?
It's because I got my Immortan Joe mask on.
Yeah. I was like, Brian, put it on. There it is. There you go.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh
she
my
can't see it
God.
because she can only see the stream. But yeah, there it is. That's the one you printed
Bloody
and
hell.
painted.
Oh, please leave that on.
Printed, and I can't because I don't have. What I need is like some little elastic straps to keep it on my face. I tried pinning it under my headphone
Doesn't reach.
Staples.
To
cups, but it still doesn't. This thing is heavy enough that it doesn't.
yeah.
But
Put it under your earphones.
I tried that. It didn't hold. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
Didn't hold.
Yeah.
Didn't
Okay.
hold. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, it was nice though. I like that. Okay, so all right, why are so many of the War Boys weak and sickly? They lose blood in nightly cage fights. Number 2, their bodies are riddled with cancer. Number 3, Immortan Joe does not feed them enough. Or number 4, they have no access to mother's milk.
Ooh. I think it's. I think it's the fourth one that that they don't have access to mother's milk.
And it goes to Scott.
Yeah.
The answer is they are riddled with cancer.
It is riddled with
Correct.
cancer. Okay. Yeah. Dang it.
Dang.
Correct. Yeah,
Riddled
well done.
with cancer. And well, they again, a lot of this stuff is more implied than said. But like Nux with his two tumors he has named. And
Right. He has 2 mates.
Yeah, he has
right.
mates, and then plus he's so that's why he needs the blood because he can barely move because he's so cancered up. Yeah, they're just all a bunch of
And
little
they
cancer
say later
weirdos.
on in the movie as well, the boys are no challenge because they're so weak and riddled with cancer.
Yeah,
So they actually,
They
say
actually
it
do
later on
that.
as well.
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that was Scott. Brian.
That was
oh,
that
here
was
we
a
go.
question to me. This one goes to Scott.
Yeah, I stole it. Now I get my regular one. That's
Oh,
coming.
that's right. All right. Well, this is easy because we were just talking about it. Who are Larry and Barry?
Oh.
Are they Furiosa's favorite guns? Are they Immortan Joe's sons? Are they Nux's neck tumors? Or are they the motorbike guys in the hills?
Nux's neck tumors.
Mhm.
Correct.
Little Sharpie faces on them.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
were great. I think they were tattooed. I think they're tattooed faces.
I'm sure they're tattooed. I don't think they have Sharpies.
Yeah,
in the,
Sharpies
Mad
didn't
Max.
make it through the
just
apocalypse.
No, a bit of charcoal,
Drive
maybe.
down to the office, Max, and pick up some more black Sharpies.
If you do, you will ride shiny and chrome to the gates of Valhalla.
That's right.
No, ride
Ace
shiny.
Hardware has more of that silver spray paint, too. Swing by there on the way. Just ask Sherwin Williams.
It's cheap too, although I used the black stuff on my hair, but my hair's so blonde, it didn't really go fully black.
I don't know. It looks pretty dark on the stream.
What
here,
did you
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
use? What did you use for your?
Just a spray I got from the chemist. It was like $3.
Okay, but it's like
Yeah.
safe to put on your skin and hair and stuff, right? Like you gotta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Except every time you touch your hair,
Yeah.
it gets
the little
on
black
your
stuff.
fingers.
Like the actual
So it doesn't
Furiosa. That's
dry.
cool.
You're like a human bingo dauber. You could just like.
Yeah.
Well, remember that her whole deal. She was pulling off. It was axle grease from the steering column in the truck that she was getting it from. So.
Oh right. Yeah.
So
See, I'm
anything's
being
better than that.
authentic.
Yeah.
I'm going to need one hell of a shower after this. I
Yeah,
can
you
tell
are.
you that. Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Brian.
It is.
Yeah.
So the bullet farmer drives a car called the Peacemaker.
Yeah.
It's a Chrysler Valiant Charger mated and mixed with what? Number 1, a Chevy pickup truck. Number 2, a turbo engine Froman F16, a Hummer H3T, or a main battle tank.
Oh geez. I'm visualizing it, and I know the front of it is the
You said Bullet Farmer, or did you say the other guy?
Bullet
farmer.
Okay.
Not the guy with the big feet.
The guy with the big feet.
Yeah, the guy with
The
the big
elephantitis of the feet.
Oh,
the
yeah,
foot,
yeah.
nose.
Okay, gotcha.
cub
Yeah,
foot,
and the nipple rings and the cutout of his suit.
Yeah, he is one.
Yeah, he's highly attractive.
He's
highly
a
attractive.
he's a cannibal and he's horrible. Don't go near that guy.
I think it is combined with a Hummer, H3 Hummer.
No.
Oh,
No.
well, it was.
Right,
I was actually kind of torn. It was between that and tank. I will now say tank.
Well done.
Ah,
Yep.
You should say tank. Yep.
Yep.
Dodge that
Winner
bullet.
chicken dinner.
Yeah.
All right. Number
Very
four.
good.
Number 14. This is Scott. What are 2 of Immortan Joe's wives' names? And you're not getting any clues for this one.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh, dude!
Wow.
So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five wives.
Oh my
So
gosh!
just need to name 2 of them.
Just 2? What if I named the actresses who played them?
I know.
A nice try. Nice
Um,
try. My response to that is da 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 da.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Immortan Joe's wives, and you say there were a total of 5. There was Zoe
Mm-hmm.
Kravitz's character. There was the redhead. There was the pretty blonde who was pregnant. There was the weird
Yeah,
blonde.
that's not cutting it, mate.
No, I know. I have to go through these in my head.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm not going to know any of these. I've seen this movie like 12 times. What's wrong with me?
I'm up to 15.
Okay.
The hot one, the hot one, the hot one, the hot one, and the hot one.
Yeah.
Lurleen and Pleasance. I don't know.
I don't think Brian will get this either.
I'm not going to be
Brian?
able to steal. Was one of them like Angel the Ascended or something like that? They all had like really
Weird names.
weird names.
Yeah. This is
Was
all
one?
right, this
Okay,
is
I'll
the
just
na-
say Angel. Okay, yeah, give us the. Again.
All right. So this is the name of the wives:
Okay.
Capable, Cheeto the Fragile, Toast the Knowing, the Dag, and Splendid Argrid,
Yeah,
who is the one that's pregnant.
I never remember that stuff.
No.
Terrible at those names.
I didn't remember it either. I looked up that question. I was like, shit, I don't remember those names either.
They don't really-
Don
Because they hardly
Cheeto.
name
Don
them.
Cheeto the Fragile was one of his wives.
Don Cheeto the Fragile. Yes. It was
Capable, Cheeto the Fragile, Toast the Knowing, the Dag, which is a popular
Wait,
name here in Australia for someone that's a bit of a loser, is a Dag.
Yeah,
and Splendid
Kind of
Argrid.
not a
Yeah.
It's kind of not a good name for a wife. The dag.
The dad.
You know, gotta go home to
Dag.
the ball and chain and the dag.
So
Yeah.
did they? I don't. I need to. I mean, I'm always in the mood to watch it again, so I have no problem with this. But I don't think they named them off. I think maybe they were on some tag somewhere, or back at the place they were on the
certainly.
wall
They,
or something.
they yell them especially in that last when they're trying to get back to the Citadel.
Oh, really?
They when they're being grabbed and all that, and especially when the pregnant one's taken, that's when the names are said. But they're probably maybe said once or twice. That's it. And there's so much going on at the same time, so it's really hard to pick up what they're actually called.
Yeah.
So I just threw that in to be a bitch, basically.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished, right? So that's a no go. That one.
Yep.
Okay,
Brian's turn,
so
right?
we're on to
Brian.
Brian.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Where is Furiosa supposed to be heading where she steals the war rig and escapes with the wives? Is she going to the Bullet Farm, Gas Town, the Salt Flats, or the Green Place?
To the Bullet Farm.
Oh, that is
no.
incorrect.
Oh, wait. You asked where she's supposed to be going,
Yes.
right?
Supposed to be going.
Yeah.
Yes. She was. Oh, really? I thought she was going to the
Yeah.
Bullet Farm.
She was.
No.
What's going on, boss? We going to Gas Town? Why are we turning around, boss?
right.
Yes.
Dang,
Gas
that's
Town.
right.
Give Scott
Well
that
done,
point.
Well done. Whereas really she was going to the Green Place, which doesn't exist anymore.
Yes. Right.
So Scott is the winner chicken dinner on that one. All right,
Nice.
so that is 15 questions. I got some extras. It's up to you guys.
Give us how many more you got? How many extras?
1, 2, 3,
Give us 3.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Give us 3.
Okay, Brian.
Yes. Well,
what-
okay. Me again. All right.
Wait, it would be
Oh,
me because
no,
I stole. I
Scott.
stole.
Yeah,
No,
it would be
it's
Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got black fingerprints all over my paper now. If I get busted for a crime, they got fingerprints everywhere.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So what do the people of Joe's Citadel beg for? Is it 1, cable TV, 2, pizza, 3, porn, or 4, water?
Water.
Water.
Yeah.
Milk and Pepsi.
Although I love the idea of them pouring just old pornographic magazines off the edge of that cliff. Don't
Or-
Or
become
coax.
addicted to it.
Like
You-
dumping a bunch of coax cable out of the.
Yeah. I want to.
Now you can get your IFC channel and your Bravo.
That was an easy one. All right, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully
Let me
yours
get
is
that
easy.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, you got another easy one. All right, so Brian, Joe keeps
Yeah.
his wife. Joe keeps his wives,
Mhm.
the pretty ones, in a 1 vault, 2 penthouse in Vegas, 3 ski lodge in Aspen, or 4 a doghouse in the backyard.
What was the first? You said a 1 volt? What'd you say?
Vault.
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 Vault. Like
what?
Like a bank vault. Like vault.
Oh,
Yeah.
a vault. A
Big
vault. I was like, I keep
vault.
hearing volt.
Yeah.
Volt. Yeah, in a vault.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
that's
yeah.
an easy one.
I went a bit goofy. I went a bit goofy with the
A
extra
1 volt
questions.
battery. What? What is this? I don't know what you're saying.
All right. Last one. What is
All right,
this
so
one?
first in. First in. I'm going to.
Okay,
This is the
all
last
right.
question, so I'm going to do
Okay.
first in.
Okay.
This is a really hard one. All right, the spiked car bug in the biker-controlled canyon is taken from what Aussie movie in the 70s? Wake in Fright, Alvin Purple, The Cars That Ate Paris, or The Devil's Playground?
The
Playground.
Paris one.
Scott wins.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, that was for Brian. That's for me. Yeah, no, I've heard that before. I
Really?
couldn't. Yeah, it was. I didn't remember the exact title, but it's something to do with Paris, and it's in the it's in the
Like they
extras.
They reuse the actual. vehicle?
Google that movie, and like it is it's one of Peter Weir's first films. It is really bizarre. It's really quirky. There's some great actors in it, including Bill Hunter, and that is the original. Even Quentin Tarantino talks about it. That is originally where you see the spiked VW
Yep.
bug.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, look at that! It's
been
even on the.
honoured.
It's even on the movie poster.
Yeah, it's cool because I don't know if they were trying to. I don't know if George Miller was like, "Hey, I want to do an homage to that," but it certainly worked. It's
I think so.
It's dead
yeah,
on.
I think so. So, I think.
I think
did
Scott
you-
won that one.
Did I win today?
Yeah.
Wow.
He
All
has
right.
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
yeah, that's it.
So where does that put us? Let's see. I got to open the chat. Hold on, chat. Okay, chat room. So now where are we? If I won today, that gives me one more overall point, and Brian was like ahead by 2 or something. Does that put me within a shooting range of 1? Does anyone know?
Somebody's got to have a record of how we've been doing on these.
Oh, if they don't, it'll be a shame.
No.
'Cause
But the Wraith 86 says that Gidget wins, which I think,
yeah.
the fact that she got all gussied up for this.
Yeah. You win.
This is an old leather glove, and I sprayed it with silver.
Oh, really? That's
clever,
cool.
isn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
I need to see
Yeah.
this stupid movie. This is a Peter Weir movie?
I know, that's the craziest thing. Is that it's Peter Weir.
It is. I only saw it a couple of years ago to do another podcast, and I absolutely loved it. It is so strange and weird, but it's one of those movies that you watch and you're like, I don't know whether I liked it or not, but I'll never forget it. And that to me is a good movie.
This is the guy that made Witness and Master and Commander and
and
like,
Picnic
Dead
at Hanging
Poets
Rock.
Society.
And,
yeah. Yeah, these are, I mean, we're talking about like one of the great, well, whatever. These people that start like this
It's
are
well
always
directed.
like,
It's really well directed. It is a really, but if you go back to any great director's very first movie, apart from maybe Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs, but anyone's first movie, they're always a bit rough. So, but it's worth checking out. It's quirky as hell.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I'm interested. I want to see it now. FilmSack would be a good place for it. Gidget
Yep.
Von LaRue, everybody. Tell people where your podcast is so they can go get it.
Okay, I am co-host of the Retro Cinema Podcast. We podcast 80s movies we loved back then and we still love now. And we've recently, last week, released a Police Academy, and just tonight, we released The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah, very nice.
Come and check us out.
Yeah.
So we'd love
And
it.
Richard
Thanks, guys.
Dawson.
Well done.
Yeah, well
Thank
done.
you. I can't wait for Micronauts and Spice Girls trivia later this month.
Perfect. If she can put them together, that'd be even better. I would
Right,
love that.
Spicetronauts. Yeah.
Spicetronauts. Micro
Girls.
Micro girls doesn't work as well. That was great. And also Running Man. That reminds me, we did a film sack of that forever ago. I missed that movie. I want to watch it again.
It's so bad it's good.
Yep. It's one of those for sure. All right. Well done, Gidget. What time is it? We got time for a little news. Let's do the news. A little bit of news, starting with this. It's the news brought to you by...
A brand new episode of Frog Pants Plays Daily, out right now. Get it at frogpantsplays.com.
That's right. I have good news, too. Some people are like, is it in audio form? And I say, yes, it is, actually. So I started ripping the audio out and just putting it on the mega feed, which you can find over at frogpants.com. So that's just like the big feed. I put all the Frog Pants shows in. And I decided to stick it there for now until, I don't know, if enough people want it, I'll put it in its own feed. But it's mostly a video thing. It's up on YouTube every day. That is to say Monday through Thursday. I don't do Fridays. Fridays are my art days. I have to do more art stuff on Fridays. That and TMSPM. So go check it out. Today's just went up, and it's a good one, I think. Talked about some cool stuff, and I also include bloopers in everything I do. So
I love the bloopers are the best part, and you gotta wait till the end to see them. But they are my favorite part.
yeah, don't skip ahead. Just listen to the thing and then watch them. Enjoy them.
Well, yeah,
later.
yeah.
TMSPM tomorrow. Yes, it will be happening tomorrow. Don't you worry your little heads. Brian and I don't
But
observe.
only if you're a patron.
You got him. You got him.
Yes, that's the only way you're going to hear them.
There you go. All right, check out this story. I've been holding on to this for a couple days.
Yeah.
Violent male, so a man.
Okay. A violent man. Yeah.
I don't know why they put male in the headline, but whatever. This is a UK story. Maybe they're weird over there. Violent man scared out of the water by a large fish into the arms of the police. Now, don't get...
So he was in the water. He saw a fish.
Right. He got
jumped out of the water into the arms of police, like
a cartoon,
like a salmon going into a bear's mouth in Alaska, like up the upstream.
This was my question because in my head I picture a very cartoon-like situation.
And the police just catch him like,
yeah, we got our man, boys. Pack it up, we're going home.
Yes.
A violent male who entered the water at Thorness earlier this morning. That must be a lake or something, or a river. On Friday, was eventually detained by police after he was scared out of the water by a large fish. The needles.
He asked for less fish.
I can't help but say fish for some reason.
Fish.
The Needles Coast Guard Rescue Team. Needles Coast Guard Rescue Team. I'd watch that cartoon. Sounds all right.
Totally. Yeah, the NCRRT.
Yeah,
you know.
sounds like it's like a. What would it be like?
Like a Venture Brothers
Yeah.
Sea Lab kind of looking thing.
There you
The
go.
Needles Coast Guard Rescue Team.
Yeah, it airs
Johnny
at,
Quest.
airs at like 11:30 on Adult Swim or something like that.
That's right.
And Cowes RNLI lifeboat were tasked to the Thorness Bay at 6:20, I guess in the PM or AM, I'm not sure, following a request of assistance from the Hampshire Constabulary. Constabulary.
Constabulary.
There we go. It was reported that a man had entered the sea to evade arrest. A large fish, going about its daily business, startled the wanted individual, who soon left the water on his own accord. Not the car. Okay, not the car.
Yeah.
And into the arms of waiting officers. Search and rescue assets were stood down soon after. This is strangely written, isn't it?
That, by the way, is the best sentence in the whole thing. A large fish going about its daily business, which first makes you think, what is a fish's daily business? Like, all right, gotta make some coffee, read the paper,
Gotta eat,
water,
gotta
water's
poo.
on his robe.
Eat poo,
Startled
eat
the
poo.
wanted individual, who then left the water of his own accord
Mm-hmm.
and into the arms of waiting officers. That's the best sentence.
It's
right
pretty
there.
good. I also like search and rescue assets were stood down soon after. That's a pretty good sentence.
Yeah, right.
Today's incident comes less than 24 hours after another incident at the Bay. A 31-year-old man was arrested for being violent towards a holiday park staff. Here's an update. It has been confirmed that 31-year-old man from Cowes was arrested this morning on suspicion of burglary, attempted theft of a motor vehicle, affray, and possession of offensive weapon in public places. Affray. What is
He
that?
committed a fray. He fought in public.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before. This is the most British-ass thing we've ever read on the show.
Affray. He calls it a fray. Well, it's affray, or I don't know if it's pronounced affray or AFFRAY, but
Never even heard of it. Shows what I know, which is very little.
public. Yeah, what's the American equivalent? It's public, not indecency, but
Public
disturbing
nuisance?
the peace. Public nuisance.
Public
Yeah,
nuisance? Public nuisance. That's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Affray.
Affray.
All right, I'm going to give you this next one here. We have time for one more. Actually, I'm going to give you this
Okay.
last one. How about this?
All right.
Scientists have discovered a spider wearing a Joker face, and they've named it Joaquin Phoenix.
Does he give out a little business card that explains why he laughs at inopportune times?
No.
Here's my card.
But I want it to. It says here the newfound spider species wears a striking red and white pattern on its back that resembles the grin worn by Batman's long-standing nemesis, the Joker. The resemblance is so uncanny, the researchers describe the anacrid named the species after actor Joaquin Phoenix, who portrayed the tormented, smiling villain in the 2019 film Joker, which I still haven't seen, by the way.
Arachnid, by the way.
What did I say?
I think you might have said anacrid.
Did I say anacrid?
You might have. I don't know.
I probably did. This wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me that I said that. That seems like a dumb thing for me to do, and I would do it. I'm trying to find a picture here.
I'm looking at the photo.
Yeah, right? Like, this doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, it's a cool pattern, but
Ugh, that's a gross-looking spider, but it's not. I wouldn't say that's Joker-y at all.
no.
Not Joaquin Joker, not anyone's Joker. That just looks
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'd be more likely to call this a Spider-Man spider because it's got stripes everywhere
Kind
and
of.
the red thing in
Yeah.
the middle. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Joker makeup.
There's no green hair unless you count the fuzzy choppers in the bottom there. Yeah,
I mean,
I call BS
guess-
on this. This is not great.
I mean, I guess the mix of the white and the red. I don't know. I mean, it's yeah. I'm not seeing it.
To say it's an uncanny resemblance. Come on. Unless I'm not looking at it right. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if the two black nodules at the base of the butt there? Those are the eyes, and below that, the red bit is where the nose would be, and then the white is a smile. But see, then that would be backwards because the Joker's smile is red.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what? Like J.C. Calhoun says, I see more kabuki.
Oh, for
Kabuki
sure.
Coloring.
Yeah, kabuki spider.
Oh,
Call
the
it
kabuki
that.
spider.
Yeah, what are you guys thinking?
Kabuki spider.
What are you guys thinking? Scientists, what do they know? All right.
What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know? They don't know anything. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy Dunford will be here. She's a She's a psychologist and a therapist, and so she's going to help us with a problem today that has nothing, A, to do with the pandemic, B, with any social uprising, or C, any of those things. None of our last 4 months of hell are going to be talked about today. Instead, we're going to talk about a common problem that happens with some kids and some parents. So be ready, parents of little or older kids. We got one for you today. Before that, though, we got to play a song, and Brian is the man to do it.
Yes. Let's go to LA for an alternative rock band called New Language. They've got a brand new track that they've released. It's part of their EP1 2020. Yeah, they're good at music. I don't know how they are about naming their EPs, but EP1 2020. No, this is really good. This was originally written in response to the repeated gun violence that they saw here in the U.S. and around the world. It was a theme that they felt that they could all relate to in some regard. Paranoid is the song. Here is the band, New.
This show is
Going on now, the biggest footwear fiesta in southeast Missouri. It's the annual July clearance sale at Brooks Factory Outlet Shoe Store in Zenith. This is the sale that enables you to buy from Brooks' entire inventory of summer shoes for all the family at the lowest imaginable prices.
I pegged him as slightly cuckoo, too.
This is the morning stream. No touching of butts allowed. No butt touching.
all right. We're back. Ooh, misclicked that. It sounded like the end of the show there. This you want to play that?
No, but what's funny is you cut it off right as it said this show is, and then you started playing "Going On Now" at Brooklyn's Hardware or whatever it was.
Yeah, it wasn't great on the production side.
It was a clever but it was an unintentional clever connection.
I also put a lot of spiders on the screen, and people did not like.
Yeah,
it.
I was seeing the chat, and
yeah, they don't like spiders.
I'm glad I wasn't watching the stream.
Yeah, I do this thing. If you're on the show live, and you should come live when we play music, I just kind of come up with my own music videos and stuff that I don't get in trouble for. And today it was spiders because we talked about a spider, and now I have regrets. I regret it all. All right. Hey, it's time for me to call Wendy. I best do that, I suppose.
You best do that, Scott, because she's not going to call us.
No. I mean, she could, but...
Well, I mean, she could, but...
Why would she? Why would she want to?
No reason. There's no reason. She wouldn't want to.
No, I wouldn't want to if I were her. Why do you want to? There's nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
All right, well, all of our gibbering has afforded us nothing because she still hasn't answered. So let's see if she's there still somewhere. I'm going to save where we're at here. Okay, come on, Wendy. Oh.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I hear you. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh, that was Grandma right there. Did you hear it?
I know, right?
Wendy used to do this thing where, and I'm pretty sure you're just going to become her one day, but...
I am already.
Yeah.
It's done. Complete metamorphosis finished.
Yep. My grandma would walk into a room and go, hello. And it was like the very distinct, like, hey, grandma's here kind of thing. And Wendy got so good at doing it that we would be fooled into thinking grandma had arrived.
Wow.
When you would do it. Yeah. It's really weird.
And now I just do it naturally.
Yeah. It's just part of who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be a grandma before you know it. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Don't think about it. Hey, you might get lucky. Well, maybe not. Let me think. How old's your oldest? Maybe not. But you might, having your first grandkid in your 40s is pretty cool. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, because you have energy and stuff. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned this, but Abe told me one time, when kids get mad and they say stupid stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, when I'm older, I'm moving to Tennessee and you guys can never visit me.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and we were like, what the heck about Tennessee? And he's just like, oh, no, it seems cool.
He thinks Tennessee's the place for him. Okay.
Well, we went on vacation there once, and it was a blast. So I think he thinks Tennessee is nothing.
Oh.
Just always be a blast. Like everything about Tennessee would be a blast.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe it's true. I don't know.
A lot of
can't
people
ever visit. So
a lot of people like Tennessee. It's kind of like finding out that Boise, Idaho, is a cool town. Like right now, it's kind of when we were growing up, Boise was the dumbest place you could ever go because it just sounded terrible. But these days, it's like Portland Junior. It's like a real cool, like happening artsy fartsy town. and apparently a rad place to go. So if you're in if you're in Nashville, if you're in
Also Nashville.
yeah, I guess so. Well, anyway, I hope he doesn't move out too soon and that Tennessee is not in your future. However, I am glad to have you here. Wendy is a therapist. She comes on Thursdays, does Therapy Thursday. Oh, I should play this.
Something wrong, Batman? Has anybody seen Wendy?
No, I want divorce.
There's an old one. Hey, we talked about people on the show many times over about their problems, their issues. Lately, it's been a lot of pandemic and social uprising stuff and all that. But today, we're back to basics, man. A parenting question I think we've all had to deal with if you've had kids. If you have little kids, maybe you haven't had to deal with it yet, but you're gonna. I remember when my mom dealt with this with a particular sister of mine, not Wendy. And it's a thing. So we're going to talk about it, all right? So here's the email. You ready for this, Wendy? Any other setup? Okay.
Nope, go for it.
I had, sorry, we're not saying who this person's name is. It happens to be somebody we know, so that's why we need your help. Here we go. I had just looked at my dresser for some cash and had left there this afternoon, and I was getting ready for bed. Some of it is missing. My 6-year-old was being weird around dinner, and when he was taking a long time to wash his hands, turns out he had snuck upstairs to put Dad's money in his jar. That's his little kid's money jar. As if it was his own. This is the second time he has taken money out of my dresser. The first time he took money from there and told his mom he found it in the couch. We finally got him to tell the truth, and we ended up having him do some chores to repay the money that he stole. There is going to be a difficult discussion tomorrow. Anyway, feeling more disappointed now more than anything. I don't want to raise children that I think might steal, especially when they have already been told once before and they did it anyway. Any help would be appreciated. So am I wrong to think that this is just a lot of kids go through this? There's this point where they're like, they make some math in their head and they go, candy. Money buys candy. Mom has candy in purse. I take money and I buy candy. It's like that, right? On some basic level, every kid.
How do you think 6-year-olds talk, Scott?
But like just the simple math of like,
There's
well,
no nuance,
that's
just
the thing that gets me what I want, and I can't get it any other way because I don't have a job like mom or dad or whatever. So what do you do here? What is the best tact to take as a parent?
Fact. Here's the thing that is going to be opposite day, is this is a great thing. I know it's confusing what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, man.
It's a great thing because it's normal on one hand, but it's also, he is testing the world a little bit, right? And here's the problem with parenting generally. We want our kids to behave because we want them to be, they are extensions of us. And so I am assuming this person believes he's an honest person, right?
Yeah.
And that he and his wife are upstanding citizens who do the right thing and they don't steal and they are never lie and blah, 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 blah. And so this kid is an extension of me, and there is no way this is happening in my house. And, so we're going to parent it as if it is the atrocity that it feels like.
Yeah.
And I get that 100%. I've done this myself. Like, you don't steal my house. Like, I have not handled this well, so you might not want to listen to my advice. But it really, the opposite is actually true. That this is, a kid. So Scott, maybe your voice is the wrong voice.
Yeah, maybe.
Of what's going on in their head. But it is some calculations. It is testing some of the water and going like, oh, how does this work? And I've learned that I've made my parents really mad. And now I've done these chores to pay for it. Okay, so next time I'm going to be sneakier, right?
It's way better than if he were to do it and they were completely unaware of it. And he said, oh, I can do this. I can get away with this. Great. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. The pushback
That
doesn't.
would happen too. And it would just be a phase and they'd be over it.
Right.
Here's the thing we're so terrible at is we don't know and we're guessing.
Right.
So the things that feel personally like more scary to us, right? It could be a number of different things. We tend to come down on those a lot harder. And that can have mixed results. Sometimes it can scare the kid, and they're like, oh, I'll never do it again. Or the kid realizes what happens and what it was, and they feel really bad. So that didn't happen to the kid. He got in trouble. They got him to tell the truth. He then had to do a bunch of chores, and now he's doing it again. So you got to stop and go, hey, this is not about my kid being a thief and he's going to be in jail soon. Because that is where our brains like to go as parents, like, oh, what does this mean? Rather than like, all right, first tactic was interesting. His response is an interesting response to the second wave.
Yeah.
And use it as information rather than some, like, this is the judge and jury about who your kid is. And therefore an extension of you and how, there's no way this is happening in my family. And that level of intensity, the level of intensity is understandable. So let me make that clear. It's then what do we do with that information? Do we just double down or do we stop and get curious? Right?
Yeah.
So why is the kid doing it? And is there something else he's thinking? Like Scott just did an impression of what this kid might be thinking. And how do we check that? How do we know actually what the kid is thinking? And every kid's going to be different, right? Mm-hmm. They could say, well, I thought I would burr, burr, burr. But here's where this relationship with the child and being able to communicate is, they're at the beginning of this with a 6-year-old. Yes, you have a relationship with the younger ones but there's a whole lot of bossing them around, right? Like that's a big part of keeping them safe. And, you don't let them play with knives when they're 2 for a reason, right? So you're in that mode for so long. And 6 is really when things start to shift. They lose their baby teeth and they get those big, ugly buck teeth. Like to me, it's always the sign. Your kid looks kind of ugly and you don't take any more pictures of them. We're in a different space.
Yeah.
Sure. And so, that's where they're headed. He's 6 and he's testing some boundaries and, sort of understanding the world. It does not make him a criminal. Now, I also can hear them saying, well, how do I get him to stop it? Well, you got to start with understanding his motive. Like, what is he doing? But if you don't have any way to be chill and have a conversation with him, you're not going to ever get his motive. He's going to learn that lying to keep dad happy is so much easier than actually sharing what I really feel. So this is hard. The parenting is really hard. And often you'll see, a kid 16, 17, and they're just like, I'm out and I don't care what my parents think. And, there's such a disconnect at some point. And not to say it all starts this way, but it does start with when we over grip on certain things and we're not aware of why we're doing it, the kid will not feel like they have a voice. And so bad behavior is the way they have power, right? So we don't want to inadvertently create that and then damage a relationship potential, starting so young. So it would look like finding some real, it sounds like the conversation probably already happened, his second conversation.
Yeah, so probably since we got the email, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what he did. Did dad have, a magical inspiration to do the opposite of the first conversation? Or did he do something similar? What happened with the kid? It's about being a little bit curious as a parent to figure out what is going to work, because every kid is different too, right? Like this is tricky. I'd love to know, is this their oldest child? Is this their only child? Is this is there a big gap and the next one's 2? Or like what's the dynamic? Because as we all know, with an only child or the oldest child, we're experimenting constantly with that first one, and they really are. They're the ones that changed us, right? They're the ones that made us other people and parents, and we're more nervous about them, or we're trying to not do it wrong, or whatever it is. So it'd be interesting to know where this kid falls in that.
I would too. What about that? I know what he's probably feeling most is an existential dread that he is somehow raising the next prison inmate at Rikers. Like this feeling of, oh my gosh, my kid's one of these. That's where these people come from. That's where this is how it starts. And if you don't stop it now,
do it the right way now, it's going to get worse. And yeah,
right. And I remember
notice that.
Yeah.
Really quick, he says, I do not want to raise children that think it's right to steal.
Right.
Especially when they've already been told once. Right?
Yeah.
Like his parenting belief is really clear.
Yeah.
It's, you are told once, and if you don't get it, then you're going to be like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this has to be his first kid, because sir, you will tell your children the same thing 4,000 times.
How come I have to tell him again?
I mean, that's dreamy if
Yeah.
that could ever
Yeah,
happen, but
right.
that's definitely not real. And notice he, how you just explained that he's worried about this meaning, I'm going to have this kid who thinks it's okay. And my concern is that the relationship that they have together is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid is not going to be a thief if he feels loved and safe and connected, he's going to be a thief if he feels like he is not allowed any space to explore and make mistakes.
Yeah,
And
like you could
have
actually
to hide and go underground.
like this concept of he's going to become the next prison inmate who does grand larceny one year and gets in trouble on a federal whatever and he's in jail. It's easy to try to draw those lines, but those people, and obviously every situation is different, but a lot of those do come from horrible neglect when they were kids, abuse when they were kids, no relationship with their parents, dad issues, mother issues. Like that's why that's I agree with you. The most important thing is your relationship with the kid and that sense of trust, and not establishing a new intense hierarchy where he starts to the kid starts to feel like, well, if I do anything wrong, I'm going to incur this level of wrath every time. Mm-hmm. Now he's scared of you. Now he doesn't want to talk to you. Now when things are hard and difficult for him, he doesn't want to go to you with these problems. He wants to instead go to maybe sources that are less helpful or detrimental to what decisions he's about to make. So for me, that would be job one. Can
you imagine you're a 6-year-old and your dad sits down and says, "Oh, buddy, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so easy to just grab that money and put it in your drawer and get your candy. Like, I understand that feeling." And they're like, "What?" Versus, "What is wrong with you?"
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
I've told you once.
Yeah.
And here's where I don't know if this person has ever listened to the show when I'm on before, but
I guarantee guarantee they have.
I have a tendency, people I think often want me to tell, and this is true of any advice giving, is they want me to say what to say to the person who's doing something wrong. Like, teach me how to handle this person who's wrong. And I will always say it's the actual opposite. You got to take out your own garbage first.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what that would look like. How were you raised? What was your dad's, how would he have handled this? What experiences do you have where you made a mistake? How was that treated? So you get into your own experience to recognize why you do the things that you do, right? So is it so scary for you to stop and find out what this kid is really thinking? Because that is bizarre. That would never have happened in your home. Your opinion didn't matter. And I turned out good. So why would I do it? Am I going to spoil him? I mean, you got to really get into like, what's my stuff around parenting? I find a few things hilarious in modern society. People get married, they get a little paper or a license, and there's zero required, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you should take just 5 minutes and learn some basics. I don't know, like, so much more success could come if we had some ideas here. I feel the same way with children. We do a "don't shake your baby" video at the hospital, and then we send you home, and it's garbage, right? There's so much good information out there that parents could use. And it's what, for people who can afford it or have the mental wherewithal to go get it, especially when you're sleep deprived. Like, what?
Yeah.
So it just drives me nuts.
Plus, you're new and you don't really know what the crap's going on yet, and you've already got fears in your head that have nothing to do with reality. I remember as a parent, not even a parent yet, we just had a bun in the oven. I had so many dumb fears that turned out to be just dumb and a waste of my brain space. That was all about.
Know. Yeah,
you don't know.
You
don't know. You're new. Yeah. You're nervous. You want to do the best you can. It's probably a good sign that you're feeling the responsibility of what this is, because it is a big responsibility. But I don't know. It's easy to judge parents, new parents especially, and say, I can't believe, or whatever. But that's like Wendy said earlier. The first one's your guinea pig, and in some ways that kind of sucks, but in other ways it is hard. But in other ways, like I felt all of those anxieties and fears and stuff with my first one, but we're as close as you can be today. And I think part of it is because we adhered to that thing Wendy said, which was, it was never about, the thing that they said or did that was wrong or improper or whatever. It wasn't, we never made it about that thing and then demonizing it to the point that they didn't really understand why they were upset. We just would make I don't know. I'll never forget. We bring this up all the time, and Wendy, you bring it up sometimes. But when Carter stole the cooking chocolate and hid in the dog kennel and ate it, she was like, I don't know, a year and a half old. She crawled in there, just had a big poop eating grin on her face and just gnawed on this chocolate and ate it. And I think a lot of us, myself included, thought, oh my gosh, that was for this big thing Kim's making. She's going to lose it. She's going to be so mad. Instead, she said, oh my gosh, quick, don't let her out. I'm going to go get my camera. And she went and got her camera and she took pictures and she made sure we captured the moment. And then she talked to the child later and explained, we can't do this with this kind of stuff because it's going to make you feel bad, but also we need it for other things. Like, you can have the discussion about why it was wrong, but also have the relationship front and center first, always first. And then other stuff can come later. And you're going to have harder stuff when they're teenagers. You're going to have harder stuff, dude. You're going to find one night, like I did, my oldest and her friends broke into an abandoned house, and the police came and got them. And they were terrified. They thought they were all going to jail. And I'm like, you're 16. They're just trying to freak you out. And it wasn't that big a deal. But to them it was. They were terrified. Mm-hmm. And all I wanted to do was hug her and tell her everything will be okay, and then explain why it's bad to go break into a house when you're 15. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I'm saying all this, but you gotta let the parent. Two things. You got to let the parent have a minute. Let them have a minute to figure this stuff out. So don't be too harsh on them. But on the other hand, that parent, don't get so wound up in, everything must be proper or it's all falling apart. Like, just dive into what matters.
You can make a couple mistakes. It's totally fine. And you will make mistakes.
Hug them and,
it's like, he's writing this email, the way his earnestness, he cares. It's all the right stuff. It's that's not actually the most important part, but the energy is right. Like, he cares. This is huge. There are families that may not be the case. There is no caring. And so, let's commend you for that. It's what you then do with the energy of caring so much that can go in lots of different directions. And so that's why I always tell parents, like, you take out your garbage, you take your garbage out less on your kids, right? You recognize they are who they are. You give them space to be that thing. And because you have taken care of your stuff, they're not an extension of you in your ego sense. They are an extension of your love, and they are an extension of, like, you're responsible. There's reality there too. But with this, if your ego requires them to be the star athlete, you're in trouble unless that's all they want. But guess what? They might only want that because you want that. Mm-hmm. So it's hard, right? This is a tricky battle. And so doing your work, not actively trying to do it on your kid, but do it before, or talk with your spouse. I mean, this would be my advice. Let's say this person just started telling me this story, and I would say, I understand you want me to tell you how to fix the kid, but what I'm going to tell you is how to fix you and the kid, to help the kid, which is you and your wife talk about your history with stealing. So neither of you did it. Neither of you at 5. I mean, I took candy from a store. I'm not sure there's many kids who haven't done it. Whether they got caught or not is a different story, because our brains don't tell us. We don't understand how it works yet. So of course we've done it. Now tell us about a time. Let's talk about their experience with that. Then you two talk about how you're feeling this righteous indignation. Like, I cannot have a child who is a thief. What is that energy and where's that going to go? Mm-hmm. Because where it used to go in other generations was in a belt, typically, and other kinds of corporal punishment that, I know people are like, well, I turned out great. Great. I'm glad you turned out great. But most places it's illegal. And it's one of those amazing hypocrisies we have is don't hit other people, but then I'm going to hit you. So let's avoid that if we can. But that idea of what did you learn? What scared you straight? What was your experience? And then release some of that. Like, hear it out loud, coming out of your mouth, what you wish you had as a kid. Mm-hmm. Because what you're so afraid is going to happen, your parents were so afraid it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right?
And their parents
and how they handled it might have been awesome,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't. But you need to know what is in your baggage before you can be really effective at helping another kid. And you may say, well, I don't have 6 weeks to do that. Okay, take a big deep breath, go on a long walk, have a conversation with somebody who knew you when you were a kid. Like, process through a bit of that. Here's the thing, that relationship coming first and finding out what's actually going on for the kid is important. Because you know what else kids all do? They all lie. Every last one of them will lie. And here's the difference between a kid who keeps lying and a kid who lies and experiments and then stops lying, is that they're rewarded. So if I lie to you, Scott, and it calms you down, and then you act normal, oh, guess what I'm going to do next time? I'm going to lie.
Yeah.
If I lie to you and it breaks your heart and you want to feel close to me, but it's hard for you because you don't know if I'm saying the truth. Well, guess what? I did not get rewarded for lying. Now I have to feel it.
Yeah.
So that difference, that's going to be the difference. But every kid has to try it. Every kid's going to experiment unless they have, I mean, there are kids who don't lie and they tend to have other problems because their brain doesn't, it takes intelligence and awareness that not all children may have at certain stages. I have one who has never told a lie because she has special needs.
Yeah.
And so, but for the average brain, lying is as important as learning to ride a bike because it is a capacity of humans to deceive, which sucks, but it is. And they practice at it and then they get rewarded or they don't. So this is hard. We want to control all these things, but also recognize this is a stage too. Thank goodness the 11-year-old stage ends. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I loved 11.
Yeah.
I loved 11 as a kid, but I don't think it was peaches and cream for my parents when I was 11.
No, I can vouch that it's not.
Yeah, like 10, 11 is like the greatest time to be a kid ever, but it might be one of the harder times to be a parent because it's just, they're feeling their oats, man. They're ready to roll. They're ready to rock. They're ready to go burn down stuff and set fire to things they shouldn't. And it's all fun for them, but I don't know. It's a little nerve-wracking for parents. I think that's great advice. And also, I would just say this. So my childhood stealing experience that left me with an impression was this. I think I may have even told this on this show before. If I have, forgive me because I don't remember. But we went to a store and I saw in the store they had these amazing. I don't know. I was always fascinated with these. I still am to this day. I love erasers, like pencil erasers, but they're in shapes of different things, not just on the end of a pencil. For whatever reason, that fascinated me as a kid. So if there was like one molded in the shape of a little house or one that looked like a little car, I just thought, oh, that is so rad. Even today, like I think that's cool. And I remember seeing some little Liberty Bells with like a crack down it and everything, but it was an eraser. And I was probably 5 or 6. I don't even know, but I remember this so vividly. And I stole it because I asked my mom first, can I get it? She said, no, we can't right now, whatever, something else, birthday, some other thing. So I said, okay. And then she looked away and I grabbed one, pocketed it, felt that rush of, oh my gosh, I have this thing and I didn't have to pay for it. Left the store, got home, and Mom saw me playing with it. And she said, where did you get that? And I said, I got it from the store. Like, what am I going to say?
Scott knows the voice.
Yeah. That's why I know the voice. Yeah. It's caveman. Because I was a cave boy. And she says, we didn't pay for that. And I said, because now I'm caught. So I start crying.
Yeah.
And I remember Mom just very kindly explaining to me how that's just not something we could do, and that she understands that I really wanted it, and that she knew a way that I could pay for it, and we were gonna and that made me excited. Like, I could fix this. Oh, really? I can still have the eraser, and I can fix the part where I stole it, and that's bad? Yes, there is a way. So the way was hard. We had to go to that store. I had to apologize. I mean, in my mind, I picture some mom and pop old West Town thing with like a guy that owns a store behind the counter with his penny candy and his freaking overalls or whatever. But I'm sure it was like a Walmart or a Kmart or something dumb like that.
Just
some guy.
teenager boy. Okay, I'll just put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, basically that's it. So she took me back there, and I was to apologize for what I had done, and I did so tearfully. And I was also told that the best thing to do is ask if there was any way I could make it up to the store. And they, like if they wanted me to do some work or something, they were never going to have a 5-year-old do anything, but that was like part of what Mom had me do. And
so I unloaded the truck.
Yeah, that's right.
So what Mom did.
Can you close for us tonight? Thanks. Here's the keys.
I stocked the housewares department and I went home. No, she says, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pay for this so you can keep it. But at home, you're going to do this job, and this job, and then that will pay for it. And I'll explain all that when we get home. And we did that. And I had certain chores I had to do, and they had to be checked to make sure they were done before I could have the eraser back. And then it was mine. And I'll tell you, that stuck with me. And I never once went, my mom is now Skeletor, and I can't cross her. Like, it never felt like that. It felt like I went through it with her. I felt supported by it. And these are vivid memories from a 5-year-old. I don't remember anything else about being 5 but this. And it taught me the lesson I needed to learn. So I'm not saying this will be exactly like this. I mean, that was like 1975, and I don't know, I don't know much about much, but I know that felt right to me. And I didn't go on to steal a ton of things in my life. And if I ever came close to it, or there was anything like where me and friends were, hey, what if we blew up so-and-so's mailbox? A little part of me would go, I've learned this lesson. Maybe we shouldn't blow up that mailbox. And so we tried to, I would try to do better. It doesn't mean I was perfect, but that stuff stayed with me, but it didn't stay with me that my mom was a tyrant and that or that I was rewarded for stealing. Neither of those things happen. So maybe that can happen here. That's all I'm saying.
Let me point out just a couple good things about that too, is this idea of there's a way to fix things. There's a way to repair, is an incredibly valuable lesson. So the majority of couples that I work with, that is so hard for them to figure out that there is a way to repair in every conversation. And the couples that survive and thrive and do well, they learn how to do this, where either in the middle of a disagreement and they can concede, or they can express love. They can reach out and touch the person on the knee. Like those, we call them repairs, right? So that is just one practical application of, hey, your relationship can be repaired. So Mom, I hurt you by stealing. Like I can fix the stealing part, and I can make sure we're okay. And so you're not just teaching them not to steal. You're teaching them how, and that will come, and that may take a couple rounds. But what you're ultimately teaching them is that relationships are not, so rigid that they will break. Yeah. That there is a mistake sometimes, and then there's forgiveness, and then there's connection, and there's that it's okay that we can be frustrated or angry at each other, but there is resolution, or there is shifting. And I mean, that's in the end what we're getting at. We can say specific things to do with a kid who stole something, but sort of the end goal is that there is building flexibility and health in relationships that will have hard things, and then we'll have good times, right? I think often you'll have couples fall apart because there is no resilience when it comes to fixing something, or bending when they need to, or coming back and fixing and repairing, so there's a lot of life lessons that come from it. And Scott, I stole something. I have a very vivid, I know it was Harmon's, and I stole, of course, shocking, you stole art supplies and I stole candy. This is not news.
This sounds right. Yeah,
and I stole candy, and I'm the youngest.
Yep.
And so Mom was tired, and when she caught me, she made me go back to the counter and tell the person I took it and that I was sorry, but she didn't make me do any chores.
There was no chores. By then she was worn out and didn't want to do it
She's
anymore.
like, I gotta go home.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I also didn't steal after that either, because she didn't do the thing that, I mean, if she had overreacted or gotten really angry at me or whatever, I mean, I would have learned, so I have the power to either hide from this anger or create this. You know what I'm saying? None of that happened either.
Right.
But I didn't have to do the chores because I'm a spoiled youngest child.
Yeah. Yeah. We all knew it. No, I'm kidding. We didn't.
I know.
Everyone loved Wendy because Wendy was the one that worked the hardest and got the most done, and the rest of us were kind of weird. And Korean. A lot of us were Korean, if we're being honest. That doesn't mean anything. I'm kidding. Okay. Anyway, so all right. I would love to hear from this parent on how their meeting went, and also if any of this helped them. So let us know how it went. It can seem horrendous in the moment, but I promise you it's not. And later on, okay, kids, if there are any kids listening, plug their ears for a second. Later on, they're going to find out that you, the parent, have been telling them about this Santa Claus fella the whole time, and it was nothing but a big fat lie. They're going to hear about that, see? And when that happens...
Why would you go there?
Well, that's why I told everyone to plug their ears. Well, my point is, you're going to have to... there'll be a day of reckoning. We're going to say, now, wait a minute. You told me not to lie here, but you've been lying my whole young life about this. And then you're going to have to talk about the nuance of this is a fun lie parents get to tell because it's joyful and exciting and it's make-believe and whatever. And you're going to have to learn how to teach what that distinction is if you so choose to teach it, because you're going to get faced with it. I promise.
Yeah.
It happened to
'Cause
me
if there's
3
one
times.
One thing little kids will do, will plug their ears when somebody on a show says that they're about to divulge a big secret.
I hope so, except for the one in the back seat of the car where they're playing it in the radio, I guess. I kind of probably messed those people over.
You need to put in the show notes like an explicit warning.
Right. Spoiler
News-
tag.
News will be shared that it's not
Explicit
appropriate for young
warning.
children.
Or I'll just warn them off and say it's just so explicit we wouldn't recommend any children listen to this episode today. How about that? That'll work.
Good idea.
Except for the live ones. Anyway, so there you go. Let us know how it goes.
Live children?
Live listeners. Not live children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, Wendy, of course, as always, people can go and sign up for and check out the website realsteps.org, which I did, and I get a very cool little message from you at least once a month. How often are you sending those out, by the way, those emails?
Week, and it's just going to be until we start in August, because by then I'll be swamped again. So
Well,
anyway,
and that's
but
my
it's just
point.
a little teaser content.
and that's my
I've
point.
read about this. That's what you're supposed to do.
If y'all want some teaser content, you can go get it there and also get signed up for a future when they do an opening. And it's really cool. Go read all about it, realsteps.org. Anything else you want to mention today?
Yeah, I want to do a follow up that is so old. Most of you, if you are new, you'll have no idea what I'm saying.
All right.
For those who were around when I was in Sweden. So do you remember my friend from Ethiopia who wanted to start a food truck?
Yes.
with her-
Yeah, I do remember that.
her Ethiopian food. So I was just checking on her with pandemic life and just seeing how she's doing. And unfortunately, she had to shut down the food truck because of it. But she had a good, I think 8 months of had the truck and was selling her food. And downtown Gothenburg is where she would go and just did really well. I was so happy. It was awesome. So it sucked because, of course,
I thought Sweden was like, hey, we're not locking down anything. We're just gonna walk around like nothing's happening. Wasn't that a thing, or did I hear that wrong?
It's not like that completely. I think all the food trucks probably stopped for a period of time, and I just don't think she had enough to keep it going.
Yeah,
so she hopes to get back to it. But anyway, those who donated to her cause and were awesome. She was so happy. I said, send me pictures, and she only had terrible blurry pictures. And I was like, is that because you were enjoying it so much? She's like, yeah. But nothing I could share with you guys, but really it was awesome. And so I just wanted to follow up with
Oh, that's very
how
nice.
great that was.
Yeah, and a lot of
So thank
people
you, everyone, for that.
stepped up and helped out. And if you're still listening to the show, thank you for that, you guys. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully
And
she
I'm
can
sorry I
get
was so long with my update. It's been a year and a half,
more than that. Like almost 3 years since we heard about this, I think. Weird.
Oh, yeah. I'm way behind.
Yeah, time is weird. All right, Wendy, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Wendy.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. There she goes. There goes my sister. Watch her
There
as she
she
goes.
goes.
Oh, that's even better. That's a better one. I like yours. I went all Foo Fighters and you went a better
I
way.
know, yeah.
A reminder.
There goes my sister. Watch her as she goes.
That's our best Dave Grohl impression.
Yeah, it was really good. It was almost like he was here.
I mean, it was. So here's the deal. This weekend, there's a multitude of content coming your way, in particular for folks who listen to TMS. If you're not already a patron, if you sign up now at patreon.com/TMS, you'll catch July's 1st TMS PM. That'll be tomorrow, 3:30 Mountain Time. Me and Brian. I think we're doing apps tomorrow, I think. Wasn't Dan here last week?
Okay.
Oh, no. Wait, maybe it'll be Dan. I'm not sure. We'll
I
figure
can't
it out.
remember now.
Time's weird. I don't know. We had our play date and it messed me up.
Oh, we had our play date. Yeah, so it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so maybe he is on. Oh, we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's tomorrow. You only get it on Patreon. You'll see a Patreon post go live if you are a supporter, and you'll be able to watch it live or catch it on the podcast feed that's over there, including some bonus content you'll get from today and every other episode we ever do. Film Sack on Saturday. Your movie homework is, I forgot.
The Green Hornet.
That's right, The Green Hornet, currently streaming on Netflix. It's got Seth Rogen in it, of course, as you can tell from Brian's impression of his laugh. Although, thankfully, I don't think he does that laugh in that movie, does he? I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he does.
I don't think he's allowed.
I don't think he smokes any pot or anything like that. I think it's a very A very atypical Seth Rogen role.
All right, very nice. So anyway, there's that, and then Sunday there will be Dungeons. Actually, Sunday will be Film Sack, and there will be Dungeons. We're recording Film Sack on Sunday this week for a scheduling thing. We hope you all have a very safe weekend and a fun 4th of July without too much weirdness here in the States, everywhere else. Oh, happy Canada Day yesterday, Canada. Well done, you guys. You're still Canada. So
Yeah, well done. Well done for being Canada.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of other cool reasons why it's Canada Day, and I don't know them because my Canadian history only goes so far. Chat room, my shirt does not say Pork City, it says Park City. Just so you know. Although I would totally eat at a place called Pork City. No.
Pork City, yeah, no kidding.
In fact, they should do like a pulled pork place in Park City and call it Pork City.
That would be brilliant. There is a place about a block away from here called Rib City.
Ooh, that sounds
and
good.
Since many ribs are pork, it's almost Pork City.
I'd eat pork or ribs if my guts didn't hurt so bad today. I think I'll not do that. I think today's a salad day is what I think it is.
The salad day.
The salad days of today. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody, for being here. frogpants.com/TMS for everything else you may be looking for. And again, go support that Current Geek Kickstarter if you are inclined to. We got rad stuff going. A couple episodes already in the can. We're hard at work at the rest of us. We need to pay the editors and the writers and everybody involved in this. The video will explain everything at support.currentgeek.com. All right, Brian, we're done. Let's do what's next. A song.
We're done. Yes, this one is going out to Erica. Says, I would like to request a song to commemorate the birthdays of my two darling children, Matthew and Harmony. Hopefully they weren't listening to that previous segment. Their birthdays are a week apart, June 27th for Matthew, who's 3, and July 4th for Harmony, who's 5.